Beautiful belly dog. So if you follow me on Facebook or you watch all the new community feature on YouTube, you may have heard that, look at her scowling, you may have heard a couple weeks ago Sugar Tree was bitten. I hate to use the word attacked, but basically she was bit by a Gila monster. It was very scary. I really thought she might die. They don't usually prove to be lethal. It's very rare to encounter one, and they're kind of naturally timid. So the whole situation was unusual, and yeah, it was very scary. I thought she was going to tachycardia, and I just want to explain a little bit of what happened. Look at the beautiful Sugar Tree. Yeah. Can you believe she is going to be 10 years old this October? She's like, don't tell people my real age. But what happened is Sugar Tree likes to chase lizards. She always has. I mean, she is obsessed with it. Her collar tag, I don't think it's this one, but I made one for her, and it says Lizard Hunter on it because that's all she does. Right, Sugar? Sugar? No comment? But, you know, normally they're harmless. They're little harmless lizards of the desert, and she doesn't hurt them. She just likes to chase them, and they tend to go underground. They'll go in a bush. They'll go through the fence line because they want to get away from her, and she'll bark. And she has a very certain bark when she does this. It's different from any of her other vocalizations. And I heard this bark outside. It was about 10 o'clock in the morning. Monsoon was coming in, so there's a lot of animals on the move then, and I right away was worried it might be a rattlesnake. I went immediately outside. All the dogs, including the new adopted doggo Argentino, they were all around the fence line, and they were cornering something. Then suddenly, I saw Bellady grab something rather large, very large, but not a snake, and she threw it up in the air. And I thought maybe it was a hawk or a bird because I just didn't understand. Bellady likes to chase birds, and she will kill them if she can find them. Just birds, though, for whatever reasonability. So I was just really confused. I was startled. After I realized when it hit the ground that it wasn't any kind of avian animal, I knew right away it had to be a Gila monster. It was just too big to be anything else. And my first thought was, okay, good. I know they're not usually deadly. It's much better than it being a rattlesnake. I ran over there, and Sugar Tree was attacking it. She was trying to protect the pack, I believe, and me. That's how she got bit by the rattlesnake. The rattlesnake actually, if you don't know or weren't following me, last year she was bit by a diamondback, and the diamondback was striking me. She actually stepped in front of me and took it. It may not have been intentional, but I honestly think that it was intentional, and it got her in the face. She nearly died. So this year, I'm walking over there, and she grabs the Gila monster, or tries to. The Gila monster just attaches itself to Sugar Tree's jaw, just right under here. It's kind of messed up. I'm not gonna make her move it, but it healed very well. And they kind of have, I don't want to say this, because the stereotype of a pit bull hold, but obviously, these things don't lock their jaws or anything. They just have the tenacity and they hold on. And they'll even lose teeth in the animal, and that venom is in the tooth and it stays in the animal. So she's just moving her head side to side, trying to get the Gila monster off, and this thing is big. I think she was she was maybe just over a foot. It was very big. I've never seen one before. I don't even think in a zoo. In all my years in Arizona, I mean, they're pretty rare. She's really beautiful. And I wasn't too concerned at that point. My main concern was I wanted to get the Gila monster away from 5 dogs. I didn't want the Gila monster to die. I didn't realize how bad it was for Sugar Tree. She was acting normal at the time. So I got the Gila monster off Sugar Tree, and my first instinct was then I grabbed a stick and I flipped the Gila monster myself, and I kind of like scooted her under the fence line so she'd be safe from the dogs and I could get the dogs inside. I got them inside, and Sugar Tree, just on the walk from the front door to the living room, she lost a massive amount of blood. It was then I became a little bit concerned, but still not entirely, because she was still acting totally normal, I'm guessing from adrenaline. About 5 minutes later, I checked on all the dogs to make sure they weren't bit, and Sugar Tree still seemed fine. So I thought, I gotta go get that Gila monster, because it could bite another animal, and it needs to be removed and released back into the wild. So I went outside and I took a snake hook, which someone donated last year because of rattlesnake, so thank you, it was very helpful. And I flipped the Gila monster into a pillowcase, and actually by the time I got out there, he was already in the backyard again. Or she, I think it was a girl, but yeah, I'm not entirely sure. This is just very, I hate to call an animal nasty too, but really very, very aggressive. I mean, very aggressive. It kind of reminded me of like an ostrich, like Sniper was, just very, very aggressive. It was trying to get me, and just every time I handled her after that, it was very aggressive. But can you really blame her? I mean, a pack of dogs, she was just trying to like find shelter from the storm, and they're all up in her business. But when I secured the Gila monster, I came back in and Sugar Tree looked bad. She looked like she was on like, I don't know, like some kind of like heavy like sedation or something. She was just staring at the wall. She seemed almost paralyzed. She didn't seem all there. Her heart rate was extremely fast. It seemed like she lost her vision. She wasn't responding to me or anything. And at that point, I had to make a very scary choice. And that was, do I rush in the car and take her to the vet and risk freaking Sugar Tree out more and causing the heart attack? Or do I not go to the vet and just keep her calm? And I was scared to death to make that choice, but I only had minutes. I decided to keep her at home. And I think if I would have taken her to the vet and rushed her off, I think she would have died. So I wanted to say that sometimes it's important to remember that the vet isn't always the best choice. Obviously, if an animal's hurt, you should just consider the situation that you're dealing with. Sugar Tree doesn't like new things. Dobermans are sensitive. I think it would have pushed her blood pressure over the limit of what she could handle. So just remember that. I'm so glad that I didn't take her to the vet, because I don't think that she would have survived the car ride. But I was very, very scared. I just laid down and stayed very calm with her. There's nothing you can do. I called my mom, and my mom is on the internet looking stuff up. She called the University of Arizona, and the lady there who deals with wildlife biology, she said she's never even heard of a dog getting bit, and there's nothing that can be done, and there was just no answer or help. Most times it's fine. I hear it's very painful. I have no idea. But Sugar Tree was in a massive amount of pain, and for her to show it like that, I think it must have been bad. She seemed worse than even with the rattlesnake. I really thought for a good probably 40 minutes that she was going to die, and those were going to be my last moments with her. It was awful. I even thought, like, should I get my iPad and take some final photos? I just did not know what to do. I just laid down and held her, and I thought she was going into tachycardia. Her heart rate was so fast, she looked like she suddenly had like dementia, didn't know where she was. And then suddenly she stood up and she went to the bathroom on the floor. And it was her holding that in because she didn't get to go outside because she was after the Gila monster when I let her out. She was scared to have an accident in front of me. And so she was overheating and panicking because she had to go to the bathroom and she was nervous to do it on the floor. So after she passed the stool, her heart rate decreased a lot and I started to think, okay, she's gonna be okay now. I washed the area off to make sure all the venom got away from her as much as possible. I checked her for teeth, which they could embed. And it wasn't until maybe 3 hours later that I was certain she would be okay. And that is what happened. And I guess I wanted to do this video mainly just to let you know who are worried that she's 100% back to her normal self, which really is incredible because she is so old and she really hasn't really slowed down that much. She has some weakness in her back legs that I'm trying to correct with more supplements, but that's the only way that you can tell. I mean, looking at her now, would you think this Doberman was 10 years old? I wouldn't. She looks really good. So I hope she's with me for many more years. She really is very special. Very special. But in regards to the Gila monster, I didn't know what to do. You know, I had a lot to deal with in a few moments. I took the pillowcase that I put the Gila monster in and I shut her in the top of my dresser drawer. And I made sure my bedroom door was shut. That was the best I could do at the time. I didn't have anywhere to put her. I didn't want her loose in the yard. And I'm going to cut to some of that footage now. This is me trying to get her out of my dresser. Because I noticed too that Sugar Tree was really stressed out and could tell that the Gila monster was in the house. So I wanted to not have a Gila monster in my dresser drawer. And as you will see, it was not easy. I filmed it. Yeah, so that's how you remove a Gila monster from your dresser, should you ever have that problem. After that, I didn't know what to do. Hi, starfish. Hello. That's like her voice I talked to her in. I have no idea where it came from. It's like, I don't even know. But it seems to soothe her. It's like our language. But yeah, I didn't know what to do because I didn't have any proper really containment. I didn't want to put her out in a crate outside to be exposed. And I decided to put her, my car is broke again. So I had my mom's car. I decided to put her in my mom's car in a crate, but a soft crate. And I will cut to that now because when I went to go and possibly release her and check on her, she got out of the crate and was loose in my mom's car. So here is that. Let's see if we can spot him. Because it was a soft crate I used, I didn't really have anything else. I feel like he's right by the door right here, so I'm not yet, like, I was waiting for the rain to end. My flashlight keeps going out too, not good. Hold on. It got wet. Lord, Gila monster, I'm just trying to save you and get you back out to the desert. Make this so difficult. Oh yeah, look, he slipped right through that hole there. Where is he? Oh man, I don't see him. I am definitely in Jurassic Park now. Where is he? That starfish crying inside. Of course, I locked all the dogs up first. Man, this is going to be dangerous and hard to get him now because, well, he's making this really hard, or she. I think it might be a girl. To release her, because I need the car and be able to drive the car to release her. And also, she just can't live in my mom's car. I do not see her. I saw her out when I first came out here to take her back out to the desert. There was a really bad lightning storm. Do it. Okay, let me just... Okay, I'm gonna shut this off. I'm gonna try to find her. Okay, so I've already opened this door and look, she's not on this side, but still we gotta be really careful here. Oh look, there's shed on top of, oh look, she got it right there. So her being about to shed was one of the reasons she was so aggressive, but I'm not seeing her. She was right over there just a moment ago. Now there's been no reported fatal death in human from Gila monster, but still, their bite is supposed to be very painful. I do not want to get bit. I don't want to have to kill her either. I mean, she could be anywhere. I think that I'm going to wait till early morning when I can see. Wait, let me listen for a second. And then try to release her then, and just keep her in the car overnight, because I don't want her out around here. I mean, she could bite the calf next, or get the dogs, but I don't see or hear her, which is very weird. She was just over there, but I don't feel comfortable opening that door again. And we're just gonna wait until there's better light in the morning, but before it gets too hot, where obviously it wouldn't be good for her to be in this hot car either. Oh, Gila, I am just trying to help you. I want to lean in farther so bad, but when you push things, I want to end up some weird accident. It'll be the next Steve Irwin. Alright, we're going to wait until the morning as this saga continues. So yeah, I mean, this Gila monster was like just non-stop, like just like, oh god, I can't even. And I was like hell-bent on saving her. They're kind of rare, not so much anymore, but it is still a life, and you know, she didn't mean to hurt Sugar Tree. She was defending herself, and I later saw that she was in a bad shed. So I don't even think she realized like what she was doing. What are you looking at? Because of the bad shed and the fact that she looked kind of thin, I thought that the best thing to do would be to keep her for a couple days and get her a mouse and make sure she was fed up before the release. So I bought an aquarium, I bought a mouse, and unfortunately, before I could release the Gila monster, she passed away. I think she was just at her tail end already. I don't know. The shed was bad. I felt very defeated because I tried so hard, and I feel really bad. The Gila monster didn't make it, and now there's this. And I guess I have a pet mouse now. And then another really interesting thing, or at least I found it interesting, all of Sugar Tree's blood, which if you're sensitive to any of that sort of thing, you might want to skip the next maybe 3 minutes of this video, because I'm going to show you the blood on the floor, because the way it dried was very unusual. So I'm going to cut to that now. Okay, before I clean this up, I just wanted to show you this. It's very interesting. This is Sugar Tree's blood. Yeah, look at the way it looks. I mean, it's almost like raised up, and you can tell it's the neurotoxin, and it's flaky. It's not how blood normally dries. It's just very interesting how it raised up. But this is where she first came in and started bleeding. But I've never seen a blood pattern dry like that before. Oh, the zoom is breaking on my camera. Yeah, just look at that. Yeah, I've literally never seen anything like this. I've taken forensic classes too, and I've never seen any kind of blood splatter that dried this way. That is the Gila monster's neurotoxin at work. Pretty interesting. And I'm sorry if this is graphic. To some of you, sugar tree is fine. It just, it's pretty rare to see something like this, and I just wanted to capture it. I mean, look at the way it's all flaky, and yeah, I haven't touched this since it happened because I knew I wanted to record it. This is all that neurotoxin. Alright, I'm gonna get this cleaned up because, you know, if you have an open wound, and all the dogs are in crates and secured until I did, just because of me removing the Gila monster, and I don't want them over by this blood. You know, it's just not worth any kind of even the low risk. So I felt really bad that the Gila monster had died, and I wanted to turn her death into something positive. So I thought, okay, well, I can use her now for avoidance training for all the dogs and even the camels. Basically, by taking the Gila monster, you know, she was dead, so not as much of a danger, but still venomous, and using negative reinforcement and the Gila monster together, timing it right, and basically yelling at them anytime they came near it. And I'm going to show you what I did with Starfish. It was very effective. Basically just chased her like a mad person, but I'll cut to that. Hey, no, no! No, hey, no! Good girl. Good girl. Good girl. Good girl. Well, that is how this ended. I want to take a moment for something positive, and I want to thank the person that donated me the snake hook last year when Sugar Tree got bit by the rattlesnake, because this is what helped me be able to handle the Gila monster safely, so thank you very much. So I took that Gila monster's body around to everyone and wanted to just scare the living daylights out of all the animals so it didn't happen ever again. And I did it to Baby. And I'm going to upload that in a second video because it is something, yeah, Baby with that Gila monster, you'll see in the next video how that avoidance training worked because it wasn't quite as effective as with Starfish. And that concludes the epic saga of Sugar Tree versus Gila monster. I want to say hi to everyone before we go. Okay, I think she said hi. What are you gonna do next, Sugar Tree? Like, Sugar Tree versus every reptile? Like, what is above a Gila monster? What is on your mind next? It's gonna be like Godzilla. I mean, like, do you see how alert she is? A blanket just fell off the edge of the bed. But yeah, that's why I decided not to take her to the vet. And just remember, sometimes just use your judgment. It's not always going to be a cure, and it could do more harm than good. But okay, look for that other video with Baby and the Gila monster because I know I find it kind of funny, but I'll definitely put a warning on it because it may not be funny to others. And thank you for watching, as always, and for all your love for Sugar Tree. Yeah, love our sugar trees. I'm gonna live a very long time. Longest lived Doberman ever.